Welcome back everyone to Life with Cloud. We are almost done. The original starter box of Disney Villainous. We are on the second last villain of this box. And so today we're taking a look at none other than Queen of Hearts herself, Miss Off With Your Heads. As always, in these videos, we will be taking a look at her board setup, win condition or win objective, her villain deck, her fate and or hero deck, and then at the end, a little bit of tips and tricks and combinations to look out for so that you can advance your goal faster, but at the same time, looking for pitfalls in the playstyle. As always, if these videos are helpful for you, drop a like, drop a subscribe, and then in the comment below, let me know, if you have questions or if I missed anything. Definitely happy to answer any questions you have as well. So let's begin with her game board. Taking a look at her game board, it's quite simple to set up. There's no lock that we have to put on the furthest right location here at the White Rabbit's house. And there's nothing really special in terms of setup you need to do for Queen of Hearts. As you see, she has 4 locations. Her 4 locations are the Courtyard, the Hedge Maze, Tulgey Wood, and then White Rabbit's house, right? Similarly, we have our Fate and Hero deck here on our right-hand side, and then we have the Villains deck here on our left-hand side as well, right? Her objective is quite simple in terms of conditions. It is to have a wicket at each location and successfully take a shot. And so we're going to take a look at what a wicket is, what it means to take a shot for Queen of Hearts. At the same time, her win condition does not require her to win at the start of her turn. As long as she fulfills these conditions, she is able to win anytime during her turn as well. All right, so we're going to begin with taking a look at the villains deck for Queen of Hearts and what we are to look out for. So we're going to begin with some of her allies that exist, and the first one is called the King. And so the King is quite simple, 2 resources to play, strength of 2, and the cost to play guards, which is other cards that you'll see in her ally deck, is reduced by 1. So the overall resources that is required to summon the guards is reduced by 1. And you have 1 copy of this card here. Next one, we have the infamous Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and they are 3 resources to play, and then 2 strength. Tweedledee and Tweedledum are not discarded when they are used to defeat a hero. So quite self-explanatory here as well. Next, we're going to take a look at some of the items that are existing within Queen of Hearts deck. And so we're going to take a look at the first one, the first item, which is called Spear. And so when a spear is played, attach it to an ally, that ally gets a +1 strength, and you have 3 copies of this card as well. Next item we're going to take a look at is called Stopwatch. And so Stopwatch has an activate effect, so once played, this stays on the board, and you can activate it when you step on the board. That has the activate option. Gain 1 power for each wicket you have in your realm, and we're going to take a look at how you get wickets onto your realm as well later. Next, we will be taking a look at some of the effect cards within Queen of Hearts realm. And so the first one we're going to take a look at is called Very Merry Unbirthday. And so gain 1 power for each ally in your realm, 0 cost to play. It's to help you gain additional power tokens as you're playing through the board, and you have 2 copies of this effect card. Next one we're going to take a look at is called Off With Your Head, the infamous line from Queen of Hearts. And so defeat a hero with 4 length strength, costs 3 to play, and you have 3 copies of this card. Next effect is called Makes You Smaller. So either shrink a hero or turn an enlarged hero back to normal. And so we're gonna take a look, or you will take a look later on, what it means to shrink a hero or turn an enlarged hero back to normal, right? So these are some of the effect cards within the hero or fate deck that will make them stronger as well. And you have 2 copies of this card. Last effect that we're going to take a look at is called By Order of the Queen. So by order of the queen is convert up to 2 guards into wickets. And so we're going to discuss a little bit more about that later on as well and what that means. And once again, you have 2 copies of this card. All right, so some of the conditions that exist within this card. First condition is called Fury. And so during their turn, so other player's turn, if another player defeats a hero with a strength of 4 or more, you can play Fury, which strings up to 2 of your heroes. And you have 2 copies of this card. The next condition we're going to take a look at is called Judgment. During their turn, so once again, other player's turn, if another player has 3 or more allies in the realm, you may play Judgment and gain 3 power. Resource collection here as well, and you have 2 copies of this card. All right, so we're now going to take a look at the cards that essentially plays uniquely to Queen of Hearts, right? And so you have first Card Guard and then Spade, right? So the Spade Card Guard. And so very simply, all you do is when this card is played, it is played as an ally, a regular ally. If you choose to use the activate effect, you have to pay 1 power token and convert the guard to a wicket. So what does that mean? So when you play this card, it plays as an ally first. However, if you choose the activate power token, pay 1 power token, you can then convert your card guards to a wicket. And so how we do that, you're going to see later in the video what that looks like as well. And so you have 2 of the Spade, 2 of the Heart, 2 of the Club, and 2 of the Diamond. So the key differences that you want to take a look at, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this in the combinations and tip section, is just the cost to play these cards, right? Some of them are stronger, some of them are weaker, some of them cost less, some of them cost more as well, okay? And the last thing we're going to take a look at is the final win condition of Queen of Hearts, which is to successfully take a shot. And so what does that mean? This is the card, Take a Shot. It costs 4 power tokens to use, and the effect is this. If there's a wicket at each location, on your realm, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. If the total cost is less than the total strength of all your wickets, you are successful in your shot and you win the game, right? If not, you have to discard the 5 revealed cards. So, and you have 3 chances to successfully take the shot. Right, and so we're in the tips and combination section. We're definitely going to take a look at this win condition here about the total cost is less than the total strength of all of your wickets. And so that's your villain deck. Awesome. So let's take a look at the hero or the fate deck. And so within the hero and the fate deck, many of them are just heroes, and there's a couple, I believe 2 effects that we're going to look out for. So let's begin with the allies first, or the heroes first. The first hero is Dodo. And so Dodo is quite simple. Guards at Dodo's location cannot be turned into wickets. So a way to delay or stall out the game. Next hero is Dormouse. So Dormouse cannot be shrunk, and we're going to talk a little bit later about what it means to be shrunk or enlarged in the Queen of Hearts realm. Next is Caterpillar. And so Caterpillar impacts all of Queen of Hearts allies, and they lose all 1 strength when he is at the same location. Next we have March Hare. So March Hare gets a +2 strength, or becomes stronger, if the Mad Hatter is anywhere in Queen of Hearts realm. And then of course we have the Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter gets a +2 strength when March Hare is in Queen of Hearts realm, so they definitely complement each other. Next one, we have the White Rabbit or White Rabbit. And so the cost to activate the effects of the guards and turn them into wickets or back to guards is increased by 1 power. So burning more of Queen of Hearts resources. Next one is Cheshire Cat. And so when Cheshire Cat is played, you may convert up to 2 wickets 2 guards. When Cheshire Cat is defeated, Queen of Hearts may then convert 2 of those guards back to Wicket. And then the last hero is Alice. And so when Alice is played, Queen of Hearts cannot move allies or items. Now we're going to take a look at some of the effects that are within the hero deck. And so the first effect we're going to take a look at is called I'm late. I'm late. And so the effect is choose and play a hero with a strength of 3 or less from Queen of Hearts discard pile, and you have 2 copies of these cards. Next effect that we're going to take a look at is down the rabbit hole, and you have 1 of this card. If Alice is in Queen of Hearts realm, discard an ally from her location. Otherwise, find Alice and play her to the field. Next effect card we're going to take a look at is called Momo Wraths. And so what you can do is move an ally to any location, and you have 2 of these cards. And then last but definitely not least in terms of the effect is makes you larger. Either enlarge a hero or shrink the hero back to normal size. And so you have 2 copies of this card. And so we're going to talk a little in the next section, in the tips and combination section, about the impact of shrinking or enlarging some of these heroes. All right, so now we're going to begin the tips and combination sections of the Queen of Hearts playstyle. And so we're going to talk about something that's very unique to her playstyle, which is the shrinking and enlarging of heroes, right? And so on the board right now, we have Mad Hatter. And so Mad Hatter currently just has a strength of 3 and is at Tulgey Wood and is covering two icons, the play a card icon and then the fate icon, right? So he's right here covering this 2 icon. Let's say someone has used this ability, and so we're going to review this one here, makes you smaller. So you either shrink a hero or turn an enlarged hero back to normal. So what does that mean? So the first option is we're going to take a look at is shrinking a hero. So if we play this card, makes you smaller, a shrinking of the hero turns the hero by 45 degrees, and it opens up 1 of the available slots that was previously covered, right? And so in this 45 degree angle, now Mad Hatter is only covering 1 potential action, right? And so this allows Queen of Hearts to have more actions, even though she is coming to Tulgey Wood, right? And so if someone is shrunk, they're now at a 45 degree angle. But what happens if someone is enlarged, right? So when someone is enlarged, the hero is actually then converted to a 90 degree, and it covers 3 actions. So 1 adjacent action plus the 2 on its original square, right? And so coming back to here, makes you smaller. If someone has enlarged hero, this card is helpful to remove or to change the positioning of Mad Hatter, so it makes him regular size, so it frees up this activate card here at Hedge Maze. Similarly, in the hero deck, you have the effect here, makes you larger, so you're either enlarging a hero or shrinking, or unshrunking, I guess, a hero. So if someone is currently in its regular position, makes you larger, will then turn it to a 90 degree angle, which is great for the other players. Or if Mad Hatter was turned here at a 45 degree angle like this, and then makes you larger, will then change him back to his regular positioning and covering 2 of the actions. To help us achieve our goal as fast as possible, acquiring as many resources like power tokens is quite helpful, but at the same time, it's about using your resources effectively to progress through your story. And so the reason I'm talking about that is we want to focus here today on Tweedledee and Tweedledum. His effect is Tweedledee and Tweedledum are not discarded when they are used to defeat a hero. So let's say we have Tweedledee and Tweedledum here at Tulgey Wood, and they have a strength of 2. Well, if we're taking a look at the hero within the deck, we have Dodo, who has a strength of 3. We have March Hare, who has a strength of 3. We have Mad Hatter, who has a strength of 3. And then for White Rabbit, a strength of 2. Dormouse, strength of 1. And then Caterpillar, strength of 2. So with Tweedledee and Tweedledum and their very unique effect, they can board clear Dormouse, White Rabbit, and Caterpillar without using or without discarding Tweedledee and Tweedledum, right? So 3 cards that essentially is, if you're looking about resource management, very helpful for you to use 1 card to discard or to get rid of 3 heroes. Now, if we had cards like Mad Hatter, Dodo, and March Hare on the field, then we would need to use one of an additional resource, and the resource we're taking a look at is called Spear. So when Spear is played, the ally gets a +1 strength. So in this case, Tweedledee, and if we used it on Tweedledee and Tweedledum, they now have a strength of 3, and they can now clear Dodo, Mad Hatter, and March Hare. Noticing how there is 3 of them at level 3 or 3 strength. And then we also have 3 copies of Spear. So the purpose of this is we're not using other allies such as the king or even some of our guards to clear some of these heroes, right? 1 Spear plus Tweedledee and Tweedledum is now enough to discard these 3 heroes. All right, so we're going to take a look at Queen of Hearts win condition, and it's very unique such that we as the player get to decide the probability of us winning or missing the shot. A reminder, take a shot is this. If there are wickets at each location, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. If the total cost, which is these, this up here, these are the cost of each card. If the total cost of the 5 cards is less than the total strength of your wickets, then you win. But if the total cost of these resources at the top is higher than the strength of your guards, you are unsuccessful in taking the shot, okay? So keeping that in mind as the win condition for Queen of Hearts, a common strategy that people may use is activating the king. So the king reduces the guard's cost by 1 power. So let's say we played the king down at the courtyard. Now we can play all of our, or most of our guards quite easily. Our spade, before they cost 2, now they cost 1 to play. The guard heart cost 2, but now they cost 1 because of king's effect. But for diamond and for club, they actually started off as 1, and so now they are at 0 power token to play. So essentially they are free cards that we can play without burning additional resources. Now, what we want to highlight, or what I want to highlight here, is the strength difference between them. So we have a strength of 2 for these ones and a strength of 3 for the ones that cost a little bit more to summon and play. What does that mean? If we were to take, and I'm using this as quotes, the easy way, once king is played, we can now play 4 of these card guards on the field. And so you'll notice we have a strength of 2, 4, 6, 8. So that means that the total card strength of our guards is currently 8. If we were to go through the next 5 cards of our deck, let's say we draw, you know, and we don't know what we're drawing, but we may be unlucky to drawing a Take a Shot, which cost 4 to play. We may be unlucky to draw Tweedledee, Tweedledum, and there's 3 to play. We may draw out, you know, by Order of the Queen, also costing 2. And then if, you know, we had other cards in the deck like Off With Your Heads, which also cost 3, you know, after 5 cards, 8 seems like a very small number, right? And so that may not be the most efficient way to win the game. However, if we do have, and this is sometimes recommended, is if you do have the king in play, we're using 1 additional resources, these ones here, right? So the spades and the heart. And the reason for that is you'll notice that their strength is now 3. So now you have a strength total of 3, 6, 9, 12, right? So it is 4-point difference, but at the same time, with 5 cards coming, you know, 8 to 12 is quite a difference in terms of whether you are successful in making your shot or not. And so one of the things that you may be doing, and you may notice yourself doing is on the Queen of Hearts board, you have the option here in the top left-hand corner in the courtyard to discard a card. And you also have at Tolgiewood here to discard a card in the bottom left-hand corner here. And the reason we're talking about discarding a card, and it's important, is because if you find yourself holding cards like Take a Shot, you don't need to hold 3 copies of these cards in your hand. So if 3 copies of these cards are in your hand, not in your discard pile, but we know them to be in our deck, discarding 2 of them can be quite beneficial, knowing that we're not going to be drawing when we take a shot those high-powered or high-costing cards. As we've been milling through or destroying other heroes, hopefully you've been using Off With Your Heads, which costs 3 power tokens to use. And so it's, once again, another way to be discarding or removing high-powered cards from your deck. Ideally, the cards that we're hoping to keep in our decks are cards like the Conditions. So they cost nothing, as you see, they cost nothing. And then if Stopwatch or even a Very Merry Unhappy Birthday cost nothing. So these are the cards that we want to be keeping or hoping to have in our villains deck when we take a shot. So when we draw the next 5 cards, they're minimal at best, right? So there's 2 strategies at play here. Either you're milling through all of your high-powered cards or using them to remove your heroes so that you can play lower cost cards. Or if we choose to play higher cost cards like the Spade or the Heart, then we're just being aware that there are some of these stronger or high costing cards still in our villains deck. As we have our card guards ready at each of the locations, how do we turn them into wickets? So similar to heroes, turning them to a 90 degrees means that they are enlarged. In the same way, for the card guards, when they are turned into wicket, when we use the activate abilities here at Hedge Maze or here at White Rabbit's house, they are turned also to 90 degrees. So the cost to turn them to a wicket cost 1 additional resource. So we would pay 1 here, turn that to a wicket, another 1 there, turn that to a wicket, a 3rd one here, and then turn that to a wicket, a 4th one there. And so 4 wickets here allows us to use the card Take a Shot. And we just talked about, the conditions for taking a shot, but this is what your game board would look like with having 4 wickets and then the Queen of Hearts taking her shot here to see if she wins. Converting your guards into wickets, you don't have to rely only on the play or the activate options here. You can also use the play a card option, which you can find here at White Rabbit's house, here at Tolgiewood. There's 2 here at Hedge Maze, and then 1 here at the courtyard, right? And so the card that you're looking to play is called By Order of the Queen. And so what it does is convert 2 of your guards into wickets. So it costs 2 to play, and you're turning 2 guards. So efficiency-wise, you're still using the same 2 tokens, but you're just using 1 card here to turn 2 of your guards into wickets. As we take a look at a game board state, we have 2 cards up as guards and then 2 cards, horizontal as wickets. Cards to look out for from the hero deck that we are looking to avoid. First one is, of course, Cheshire Cat. And so when Cheshire Cat is played, let's say we play here at the Hedge Maze, the guards that are currently wickets are then turned into regular guards. So slowing down drastically the win condition of Queen of Hearts, having us to burn additional resources, whether it is using the activate power tokens or even using the effect card by order of the Queen, right? And so Cheshire's effect is when he is played, our wickets are turned into guards, and then however when Cheshire Cat is defeated, then we may convert 2 cards back into wicket as well, right? So defeating him is quite important. There's no condition that says Cheshire Cat, when Cheshire Cat is on the field, we cannot turn guards into wickets. So even if Charizard card is on the field and his effect took place and turned 2 of our cards into wickets, we can still use effects like by order of the Queen, or even paying the activate effect tokens here and here to turn them back into wicket. It just costs us as the player more resources to do that, versus by vanquishing Cheshire Cat, we freely get to turn them back into wickets as well. As we take a look, let's say this is our game state board. There's many things within the hero deck that can slow our progression down. First one is we're going to take a look at is the effect card Momorath. And so Momorath is move an ally to any location. So if any of our opponents or any of the players that's playing with us is able to draw this card, it actually slows down our progression. How? Keyword here is moving an ally, so not moving a hero. Remember, it's to any location. So ideally, you may be moving, or they may be moving this one here from courtyard all the way here to White Rabbit's house, right? It's not to any adjacent location, it's to any location, right? So for us, we then have to go through many turns by moving an ally from here, White Rabbit's house, all the way over back to the courtyard, right? Or taking additional resources to playing the other guards that we have, like the diamond or the club ones as well, right? So that's the first thing to look out for is Momorath. Definitely a time staller for us in its ability to move our allies. The second one we want to be aware of or to be careful about is Dodo. So when Dodo is played, guards cannot be converted into wickets. So taking a look at our current game state board, if Dodo is played here, either at the hedge maze or the courtyard, let's say we're going to put him at the hedge maze, this heart here or any other guards played at this location cannot be turned into a wicket. Definitely a big wall, right? So we would have to vanquish Dodo so that we can continue on with changing our guards into wickets. The next hero we're going to take a look at that may stall our progression is, let's say our game board is quite empty, we have nothing developed yet, and the opponent draws White Rabbit, right? So White Rabbit, let's say we play him here. So we lose the opportunity to gain resources, plus we don't have the opportunity to play a card. And so at White Rabbit's house, his effect is when he's played, the cost to activate the change of a guard to a wicket now costs 1 additional power. So this doesn't necessarily impact us immediately, because when we're getting our guards out, once again, onto the field, no big deal, right? They just still cost 2. But now the power or the resources required to turn them from a guard to a wicket has increased from 1 power token to 2 power tokens. So to change 4 wickets into, to change 4 guards into wickets, instead of costing 4 power tokens, will now cost us 8 power tokens, right? So definitely, once again, a drain on the resources. And as you play through Queen of Hearts, you'll recognize that she does not generate resources effectively. At least if you don't use her cards effectively, it's definitely a big drain on it. A loophole to get around White Rabbit is once again using the effect card by order of the Queen. So recognizing the wording of White Rabbit, the cost to activate, so activating is these 4 tokens here, or these 4 symbols here, activate their effect is increased by 1, but it does not mention or does not say the cost to use by order of the Queen is also increased as well. So this here will help with resource management, still costing the same 2 tokens or 2 power tokens to change 2 guards into 2 wickets. Now let's take a look at resource generation for Queen of Hearts. As we take a look, you have the option to gain 3 power here at Hedge Maze, 2 power here at Courtyard, and then 1 power here at White Rabbit's house. So to generate the power tokens that we need, if there is things to delay, it's going to take a lot of turns, right? So the cards we're looking for, first one is called Stopwatch. And so Stopwatch is an item that we can play anywhere on the board, stays on the board, has an activate effect. The activate effect is for each wicket we have on the realm, we gain 1 power. So we have a total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guards. So the maximum potential is every time we activate Stopwatch, if we had 8 wickets on the board, we can actually gain 8 power tokens, which is huge in terms of our resource generation. The other one that we're going to take a look at is in terms of resource generation is this one here, which is Very Merry and Happy Birthday. Gain 1 power for each ally in your realm. So in Queen of Hearts deck, out of the 30 villain cards that you have existing, you have a total of 10 ally cards. And these 10 ally cards are the King, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and then 8 copies of your guards. So ideally, if we had a really optimal board, we have the King in play, which reduces our the cost to play our guards. We have Tweedledee on play to remove heroes. And then because of the King's effect, we've now played the Diamond and the Clubs one because now they're 0 cost to play. Just looking at this board, we have, if we have activated Very Merry and Happy Birthday, which is, once again, these cards here, we now have 6 allies on the board, which helps us generate 6 power tokens, which is wonderful, right? So depending on the game state of our board, both either Stopwatch can be very helpful and effective, but more importantly, Very Merry Birthday is quite effective, right? Keep in mind, when we change an ally, which is one of our guards, to a wicket, they no longer become an ally. So that is a distinction here. If we were to do this, when we played Very Merry and Birthday, is that we now only generate 5 cards instead of 6 because this is a wicket. And then Stopwatch would only generate 1 because there's only 1 wicket on the field, right? We cannot use a wicket to defeat heroes on this board. We must convert the wicket back to a guard before we can vanquish anyone in the same player location. One thing we want to be aware of is 2 heroes in the deck, the Fate and Hero deck, that really impact each other, and they are Mad Hatter and March Hare. So as you take a look, both of these have quite similar effects. Mad Hatter is, if Mad Hatter is played anywhere on the realm, it makes March Hare +2 strength. If March Hare is anywhere on the realm, it makes Mad Hatter even stronger. And so the reason why we're highlighting this is because initially we could have used Tweedledee and Tweedledum plus a spear to remove Mad Hatter or the Hare, right? Because they only have a strength of 3. However, when both of them are on the field, they now have a strength of 5. And so the reason why this is important is because now they are extremely strong in terms of a board removal, and it will require additional resources. The most common way that other heroes are eliminated is using Off With Your Heads, which is defeat a hero with 4 or less strength. This no longer is possible to remove Mad Hatter or March Hare. We now have to use either our guards, who are 3 strength or 2 strength. Tweedledee and Tweedledum definitely have to be moved around to create that 5 strength unit to remove Mad Hatter or March Hare. So keep in mind that if Mad Hatter is on the field and March Hare isn't, we do want to remove Mad Hatter as soon as possible, just in case if March Hare does get played, they both infinitely get a lot stronger and it will delay your progression of removing them at the same time. All right, so the last piece we're going to take a look at is Alice from Alice in Wonderland herself. So her effect is Queen of Hearts cannot move allies or items. So when she's played, definitely a very powerful card. And the reason for that is because when she's played, many of the other heroes who have a strength of 4 or more become infinitely stronger. Alice has a strength of 5. Mad Hatter with March Hare on the field also has a strength of 5, and we just talked about that. And so if we were to ideally remove any of them, they would require, at least in terms of efficiency wise, is our strongest guards, which are our heart and spade guards, plus, and this is trying to be most efficient, Tweedledee. And so ideally, Tweedledee is used each time to vanquish all of these heroes. However, with Alice on the field, we are unable to move Tweedledee from all of these locations. So the first person we must remove is Alice. Now, if Alice is already on the field, but we already have, say, Tweedledee here, we are definitely out of luck, which requires us to then use other resources such as the spears, which gives our allies +1 strength, or even play some of our other guards, which is our club guards, which is a strength of 2, or even our diamond guard, which is also a strength of 2 as well. So if Alice is on the field, we can't move our allies, Tweedledee is stuck, so we definitely have to spend additional resources either playing club or diamond here at whichever Alice's location, vanquish her so she gets defeated. We lose 2 of our guards, which is unfortunate. But now, as we're moving through, we can actually use Tweedledee to the Mad Hatter location or the Hare's location and remove them without removing or discarding Tweedledee and Tweedledum. What that means, however, is then we have to replay the rest of our guards to replenish that section there. So definitely a very strong and powerful guard, but if we can avoid it, obviously we want to. Removing her as soon as possible using a guard or Tweedledee Tweedledum is most efficient. And that's it, guys. That is Queen of Hearts as a player or as a villain. Her objective is quite simple: summon guards, turn them into Wicket, make a successful shot. So it sounds really simple, but as we highlighted in this video, there is a risk to taking the most efficient or the fastest route to winning with Queen of Hearts based on how well you know your villain deck. If there are still cards that require lots of power tokens to be used and they're still in your villain deck, you may draw them in the next 5 cards, which means that you have an unsuccessful shot. Versus if you know that you've already played through many of those cards, then it's easier to make that successful shot with lower powered cards. So definitely a lot of risk involved in the playstyle. So if your personality, as you know yourself best, is someone who likes to take risk, then maybe Queen of Hearts is someone you want to check out and play through a couple of times to see if you like that little edge of risk taking while you're playing Queen of Hearts. As always, I want to thank you guys for checking out these videos. I have a lot of fun making them. I enjoy reviewing a lot of these decks. It definitely helps me in my playstyle as I learn these decks even better and as I play with friends. Sometimes I feel like I know these decks better than them. Definitely a competitive advantage there. I hope you guys are staying safe during this time. Spending it with either family or friends. I know Thanksgiving is coming up for many of you, but if not, Christmas is also coming up as well. So thank you so much for spending time with me today. Hope to see you guys in the next video. If not, bye for now.